Right, well, me and the dog are off to collect some wild edibles, which is no trivial matter in our household because the wild edibles we're off to collect, brambles and... Hey, drop that. Stop mucking about. The brambles and rose hips, which I expect to be collecting this morning, will form a lot of our vitamin C through the winter. So I've got with me some plastic bottles, 3 plastic bottles in the rucksack, and they're just to put the brambles and the rose hips in, the large rose hips, because the standard rose hips are not actually out yet. Right, so I'll get going. What we're going to collect is not actually in a woodland situation. It's more by the side of the road, so it will be a little bit noisy with traffic, I would think. And the dog's not going to enjoy some of it too much because she won't be running about. But we might get into a wooded area and possibly get another wild edible. But I've got to do some testing on that because it's a fungus, and although I have ate it in the past, I've done a bit more research and found out there is a slight possibility it's not what I thought it was. Anyway, we'll have a look at that when we get out there. Right, well, there we go behind me. That's what we're after, is these large rose hips. It's also mixed in with some brambles, but there's not enough brambles here to be worth picking the brambles. So what we're going for is these rose hips, and we want them fairly firm because I've got to cut them open and de-seed them. I don't want them to fall into bits while I do that. So this one here is actually a bit soggy. We've got some flowers. There's some flowers still on there. Flowers still to open. So you don't want to get the seeds in your mouth. The seeds have got hairs on. A couple of cars just gone past because we're alongside a not so busy road. So I'll get on and pick some of these. It's just a simple matter of putting the container in my pocket. I used to dangle it on a string round my neck, but I find it fits in the jacket pocket there, and then I can just fill it up. So I'll get on with doing that. The dog will eat them now as well. She'll pull them off and eat them. Although dogs don't need vitamin C, they generate their own. So I've got her lead tied to my belt. So I've got one hand holding the phone and one hand picking the rose hips. Right, well, it doesn't take long to pick a couple of pots full of these, and I can only do 2 pots full of these because I want to leave 1 pot for brambles. So that's just about it for rose hips. Now we've got to move location to a suitable brambling spot, which again is fairly close to traffic, so there may be a bit of traffic noise. And I do like to a few as I go. See there's still flowers on the bush. On the very top there you can see the purple flowers. So this will be going for a while yet. So I don't need to take too many. Right, so we're on scene for our second wild edibles of the day. There's our first. So I take the remaining container out for the second wild edibles. I've got the dog on that security fence there. We're at the other side of the housing development. This was a field, but it's been built on, and here's our brambles. So as you can see, it's worth coming to this spot. There's plenty of brambles to fill this pot. So I'll just get on with this, and then we'll go to our third site. Nice big juicy brambles. The only downside is they're all soaking wet, so a lot of them go in the freezer and they're going to carry a lot of extra water with them. I suppose we could dry them out a little bit. Hey! 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 Dog's getting excited at the workman, I think. That'll do. That'll do. No. Right, now the dog's settled down, I'll get on with picking the brambles. Well, that's it for brambles then. We don't want them leaking out in the bag, so I haven't filled it right to the top. So we'll move on now so the dog can get a bit of playtime in the woods, and I've got a feeling we'll find something else of interest in the woods, but I've got to examine that when we get there. So I'll put these away. They should all stay reasonably secure in there. Right, the dog gets a bit of freedom now. So we make our way into quite a nice wooded area, unfortunately to become another housing estate, but not for a while yet. So while it isn't, we'll make best use of it. She's quite good because she knows if she goes too far away out of sight, I'll go and hide from her. Like now she's gone out of sight, so we'll just go up here and we'll hide from her. Oh, too late, she's seen us. She's seen us. Yeah, so she gets quite good at not panicking and coming and finding me. So if ever we need anybody finding, she'll know all about it. Right, she should take us off into the wood at the right spot. There she goes. Hey, you're going the wrong way. Oh, here we go. This isn't what we're after. This isn't what we're after. But while we're here, it's the Jew's fungus. You can't get it mixed up with anything. It's been raining long enough to wash it fairly clean. I don't think you would misidentify this fungus with anything. It's just like eating jelly, really. And it's only this rubbery because of the dampness, because of the wet we've had. Otherwise they're dry like crisps. Well, very, very hard crisps. And in fact you'd be able to store them like that by drying them out. So that's the Jew's fungus, or Judas fungus. I don't know what its technical name is. It doesn't taste of much, a little bit, perhaps a hint aniseedy. These ones don't taste much at all. And this is the elderberry tree it's on. And in this case it is a tree, because it just goes up and up and up and up and up. So it just goes on up there, grasping for the light, and I can see it's covered in fungus up there. So there's a lot of dead wood, but it has got leaves on at the top there. And it's got a bark a bit like cork, although it's not too thick, but the bark is a little bit like cork. Morning. Jess, come here. Jess. Good dog, come here. Come here. Oi. Don't need telling so many times. Come on, we're going this way. Come on. The cyclist gone past there, fully kitted out as if he's out for a few overnighters. Right, we're off now looking for a mushroom which I want to identify. I think it's the parasol mushroom, but I could be wrong. So we're going to have a close look at it. Right, we're coming up on them now, and I don't want the dog trampling all over them. So I'm going to put her on the lead. Jess, come here. Good dog. Stay. Good dog. Good dog. Stay. Stay. There's quite a lot of them. Big to small. Underneath fir trees. They've been there for quite a while. I've noticed them a while ago, and I keep meaning to properly check them out. I'm coming around from the other side so I can tie the dog up so I can go and make a proper examination with her without smashing them all to bits. We'll come back to these. We'll come back to these. Look at that, all over the floor. That's the squirrels. It's the squirrels taking them off. Right, so we're round the back of the fungus, so I'm going to just tie the dog up here and do an investigation. It's a fairly big, what's that, about 5 or 6 inches across. 5 or 6 inches across. It's got a very sort of scaly top. A smoother central portion which is depressed. It's not sticking up at all. If we have a look at the base, it's got a ring on it. Is that a single ring? I'm going to pull this one out. So I've pulled it all out. It's got a very bulbous base with all the mycelium. It's got a creamy brownish gills, and they're not connected to the stem at all. I can't see whether it's a single or a double ring. The ring's free. The ring's totally free. I can spin it round. It's very... the bottom part of the stem is darker and very sort of snake skinny. It looks like it's, I can't tell whether it's a single ring or like a double ring. I can't really tell on this specimen. So whether that is the edible parasol mushroom or not, I'm not absolutely sure. There's another test I can do, which is to scrape it and see if it discolours at all. So I'm going to scrape it, see if it discolours. I'm hoping it discolours a sort of browny red. So let's have a look. On that one there, you can clearly see it is like a double ring. So it has got like a double ring on it. These are only about 4 inches in diameter, but there's ones back there that are good 6 inches in diameter. They're under carnivorous tree. If we go back to the one that I've cut, I've just cut a bit off the gills and that hasn't stained, but I scraped the here I scraped the stem and that's turned brown. Not a reddy brown, but it has stained brown. And the flesh on the top is starting to, you possibly can't see it, but it is hinting brown now. But I've just done that. So, you know, it's when a mushroom has a poisonous mushroom that might look anything like it, then I think it's probably a bit risky when you're not absolutely sure what you're doing. But I am reasonably sure that this is the parasol mushroom, but not sure enough to go eating it because I've had experience in the past and learned a very valuable lesson. So I need to do some more research and be a bit more sure before I go collecting and scoffing these mushrooms. Right, so we're back with the spoils. The brambles have been weighed, they've gone straight into the freezer. We'll use those through the winter. I'll get more brambles, of course, a lot more. The rosips still have to be processed, and I'm going through the identification of the mushrooms. In the case of mushrooms, it is better to be safe than sorry. So we're going to put this down as a learning exercise for now, although I am reasonably confident from my research that these are what we're after. But as I say, it's better to be safe than sorry, because I have had experience in the past in thinking I'd poisoned myself with mushrooms, and I have had experience with other plants in actually poisoning myself. Right, so I've hopefully taken a spore print of this fungus. It's been on there for quite a few hours. a lot of hours, and I would say that is definitely white, which is what I wanted. If it was green, I would have thought it might have been poisonous. Because it's white, I think even more that it might be edible. So all indications are that it's an edible shaggy parasol. But I would like a bit of independent confirmation on that, so I'm going to do a few more studies on it yet.